This is Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony on FM 92.7 and AM 1400. The Answer.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen.
I'm really concerned that this hasn't gotten the fanfare, the media attention that it should. I wonder why. It hasn't. It took who I believe is the GOAT of female rap, Nicki Minaj, to put her name out there for a lot of people to take notice of what's actually happening. That's why this morning we're joined by someone who's built a career standing at the intersection of policy, advocacy, and moral clarity. I got a chance to get to know him just a little bit, and he left us in Illinois. He's a traitor for that, but we'll get to that. David Robison is a voice who has never treated human rights as an abstract phrase. He's called attention to injustice when it was unpopular, and he's worked inside organizations that take truth-telling seriously rather than symbolically. Today, we're talking about a decision that did not get the fanfare it deserved. President Trump's administration has designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, as you heard him say. It is a sober recognition that Christians and other religious minorities have been targeted and slaughtered in numbers that will shock the average American. It is an act of clarity when others choose to look away. David Robison has been one of the clearest voices explaining why this designation matters. His work is about policy with a conscience, policy with courage, and policy that does not treat human suffering as distant background noise. David, welcome to Detroit's Morning Answer.
Thank you for having me.
You traitor.
Yeah. I was trying so hard not to laugh out loud. I'm like, let me mute myself.
But David, for listeners who are hearing this phrase for the first time, what does it mean for Nigeria to be designated as a country of particular concern under United States law? And why was this designation necessary in the eyes of the Trump administration?
Absolutely. And I appreciate that introduction. As you mentioned, human rights are really at stake, right? I'm a pro-lifer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny listening to people, the media, the mainstream media, they're talking about, those on the right, they believe in, they're pro-life before born, but what about after they're born? And I think this is really highlights President Trump's advocacy on the issue. I was excited to hear about it.
Yeah.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's the only president that in recent years that actually has addressed it head on. I know they've spoken about Nigeria in general terms as far as violence goes, but the fact that he's honing in on Christians, which is a serious problem, but let the media tell you that is not a problem at all. And so seeing that designation really fired me up. But I'm also curious to know why it isn't really gaining the traction like other topics or other countries, that isn't really, how can I put it, that really isn't really a part of the mainstream narrative, if you will. So I was really excited about it. So I'm looking forward to see what comes of this. Hopefully this means that this will really die down some.
Now, David, I apologize. I didn't mention who you're working with now, the National Center for Public Policy Research and Project 21, who I've interviewed so many of your colleagues. One of the reasons why I ensure that I bring somebody on from National Center for Public Policy Research and Project 21, the work that you guys are doing. I mean, it's people really don't understand how much you guys are in the trenches as it relates to the policy decisions that are being made about them. And that's one of the reasons why I so appreciate it. When I saw that you were there, I mean, it put a smile on my face. Melanie Collette is another one over there who I love, too.
Yes. yes. Love Melanie.
But, here's Nicki Minaj. I want to get your take on Nicki Minaj. Of all people and she got so much hate for doing this.
I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage in calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief. I stand here as a proud New Yorker with a deep sense of gratitude that we live in a country where we can freely and safely worship God regardless of one's creed, background, or politics.
Now, David, I don't know if you know this, and I know most people don't know this, but according to my ancestry DNA, I'm 42% Nigerian. A lot of my people came from Nigeria. Yeah, so this is why this is important to me. But when Nicki Minaj went to the UN, she spoke about this, and the hate she got from it. Why do you think the culture? Because I know you know the culture. You understand the culture. You come from New Jersey, man. You're from Jersey.
Jersey boy.
Yeah, Jersey boy. Why do you think the culture truly didn't understand just how powerful of a moment it was to have this rap icon at the UN on behalf of the Trump administration? Was it because she went there on behalf of the Trump administration? And if so, how asinine is that?
Yeah, no, that's 1,000%. You hit the nail on the head. It's really frustrating to see so many people conditioned to believe a certain narrative, right? Because we 100% know that if she was doing it on behalf of another administration regarding another topic that's quote unquote popular to talk about, she would have been held the queen, and all of the above. So I was excited to see. I saw so many comments and things like, just entertainer, another entertainer. It doesn't matter what field you work in. She went up there and she is fighting for something with a true cause.
Yeah.
She didn't go up there, twerking. She didn't go up there performing, which they would have no problem doing if it was another administration or if it was on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
But fighting for something, it doesn't. You don't have to be you could be an entertainer, a non-entertainer. So the fact that she boldly did it when it's unpopular, that's what I really respect about it. This is an unpopular thing to do. So it's not like her base or it's gonna get her more records to sell. So that I truly respect.
You talked about it earlier. You said that you don't think any other administration has done it. So how does this step, by the Trump administration differ from past approaches that either softened the issue or avoided strong action altogether? Because I didn't hear about any of this during the Biden administration, the Obama administration, because this has been going on for years, David.
Absolutely. And we know, as a Bible-believing Christian myself, we know that these days are going to come. The persecution of Christians. But, you hit the nail on the head when, looking at past, I was trying to research some past administrations that addressed this. But again, it was always generic. It was always, certain, violence in general.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really a hard hit on the country. It was just kind of, doing what they needed to do or saying what they needed to say in front of the media. But the fact that President Trump, said specifically what the issue is and demanded a change in that area and demanded the president of Nigeria to take action on it, really means something. You also see a narrative in the news that I read that, they're trying to come in here and they're going to make things worse. But it's like, no, but Trump is not letting them do that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's commendable for sure.
Yeah. You know, I as I think about this, yeah, Nigeria, they're one of the most populous nations in Africa, I believe, but they're also a major economic and security partner to America. How does this unchecked religious violence inside Nigeria, how do you think it affects the broader stability of the region?
No, that's actually a good question. I think it forces people to, go into a closet, go into silence, which we know that is never good a lot of times. And I say this often that, we'll take for granted the rights that we have here in the United States. And we have to be very mindful of what we let go on and how much power we give the government. Because imagine being in Nigeria, and I, follow many people on social media. I have Nigerian friends that actually were born and raised in Nigeria, and seeing that, if you're going there to preach, even the testimonies are different, right? So here, testimonies like, oh, I was able to buy a new car this week debt free. The testimony there in certain parts of Nigeria because of this persecution is, I was kidnapped, and thank God I was able to escape. So it's just, it really puts things in perspective, even for myself, and how privileged we are. So for me, it's been really eye-opening, and I'm thankful and grateful for where I am. And it just kind of fuels me and fires me up to, fight harder, and be more mindful of what's happening in other countries, especially as it relates to the persecution of Christians. Because, we know Nigeria is happening in Nigeria, but we also know that it's happening in other countries as well.
David, Michigan has a large African diaspora community. I think that I'm enunciating that word correctly, including Nigerian Americans who've been raising alarms about this persecution for years. What message do you think this designation sends to families in states like Michigan who have loved ones who are directly affected by it?
Yeah, no, I think for them, I think because it hits home for them, that they are finally seeing someone speaking. We hear this often for kind of nominal subjects like, speaking truth to power.
Oh, I hate that term.
Me too. But it's so funny that when you actually have someone doing it when it's not popular, I think that I can't say it's giving them peace because we know it's still happening. But I'm sure they have comfort in knowing that there's someone in the country that they live in is speaking up on their behalf. So I think that and it's no secret that the United States is a power player in the world. So the fact that the president of the United States is actually speaking up for it,
speaks volumes.
I truly do believe that it really does speak volumes.
Now, David, if Bill Maher can talk about it, come on, man.
You don't know what's going on in Nigeria. Your media sources suck. You are in a bubble. And again, I'm not a Christian, but they are systematically killing the Christians in Nigeria. They've killed over 100,000 since 2009. They burned 18,000 churches. This is so much more. These are their Islamists, Boko Haram. This is so much more of a genocide attempt than what is going on in Gaza. They are literally attempting to wipe out the Christian population of an entire country. Where are the kids protesting this?
Now, David, that's a very important question. You want to talk about from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, and you got a lot of these different groups who, if they went over there, they wouldn't make it back. But here it is, you have Christians who are not defending what's happening in Nigeria. You talk about speaking truth to power. Nicki Minaj went to the UN, one of the biggest places and platforms to speak truth to power, and she was ridiculed. Where are the people saying in the genocide in Nigeria?
Man, it is crazy. But I actually meant to mention this earlier, but where are the pastors? And again, I really appreciate someone like Nicki Minaj, a quote unquote speaking truth to power. But where are the pastors that are speaking out, against Gaza, which a lot of it is, and I'm not saying Israel is perfect, but a lot of it is a narrative that's being painted, and a lot of it is propaganda. Like, if you look beyond the surface, you can, and you read deeper into the issue, you're like, that's not quite what's happening. But here, it's, it's blatant. You see it happening, but yet they're completely quiet about it. Yeah. And it frustrates me to no end. Because, again, before I'm any type of political association, I am a born-again, Bible-believing Christian. And that is before anything. And I don't care what administration, if President Biden was in and he was addressing it, I'll have the same excitement, and I'll give him his proper as well. But to see this happening, and to see this happening often, whenever President Trump addresses something that the culture, the community, especially in certain Christian cultures, they downplay it because of the person that is saying it. And I say to them, like, have you read your Bible? Do you see the people that God has used? And so it's quite interesting. But yeah, it is frustrating to see certain individuals speaking up against it, and then and he blatantly says, "I am not a Christian." Yeah. Like, just imagine that he said, "I am not a Christian," yet we have so many Christians quiet on the issue, or telling us that it's not really that big of an issue. It's propaganda. And I'm like, it's wild. It's wild to see.
That is so true. David, I got a question for you. You missed politics yet?
Man, so, I haven't I haven't really left politics. So
well, you know what I mean.
Corporate government affairs side, but let me tell you, I do not miss that side of it at all. I am excited to be more on the policy advocacy side of things, where I can make a difference and be impactful. But let me tell you, I do not miss that side of politics.
Yeah. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Where are you gonna be? You going back to Jersey?
No, so I'll be in New Jersey for Christmas. Oh. My brother and sister-in-law, they're in Florida because my sister-in-law parents just moved here this year, so they'll be here. So that's an option. Or I have a cousin who is a great cook that lives in Miami. I have two options. So I have until the end of the day to make a decision.
I think I'm going to Miami where it's nice and warm and good food. Man, come on.
Man, I already told my brother and sister-in-law, like, listen, because they'll be here for a while. So I said, I will see you before you leave back to New Jersey. But I think I'm going to go down Miami for Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, I hear you there. David, really quickly, where can people find you, follow you, and continue to follow some of the work that you're doing?
Absolutely. And so I am most active on Facebook, David N. as in Nancy Robinson, but also I'm active on Instagram, and it is David N. Robinson, all one word. And it's also on Twitter, _David N. Robinson.
All right, and he's the Project 21 ambassador, National Center for Public Policy Research. David Robison, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. We got to catch up, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
You have a happy Thanksgiving as well. That's David Robison. I'm telling you, that guy, he brings both gravity and clarity to a subject too many leaders ignore. He's a one of a kind. I'm telling you, an amazing guy. Detroit's Morning Answer. We'll be right back.